Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to Total War Warhammer. I said that I was going to get around to playing this game. It is launch day. There have been a few minor issues with the game, some people having trouble getting it to run, mostly caused by some DRM issues and Creative Assembly servers being overloaded, but that seems to have been resolved now. I haven't played this at all, to be honest, apart from just sort of loading up the game, sort of tweaking with the options, try and make sure that it runs okay, which I think it does mainly. And, yeah, I've got no experience with this game whatsoever. I have played some of the Total War games before, not all of them. I am by no means an expert at Total War. I'll put it out there right now and say that I'm not really all that good at Total War, but I did want to sort of get into this one. The last one I played was Rome 2, so I didn't play Attila. And also, I'll just put it out there now that I don't really know all that much about the Warhammer lore and the Warhammer setting. I've always liked the sort of the Warhammer sort of story, the ethos, all of the races and everything that is about, that Warhammer is about. But I don't really know anything about most of the important characters and the lore and the factions and things like that. So I'm coming into this as a total beginner. So we're going to go ahead and start a new campaign. Now you've got four factions to choose from normally. You've got the Empire, which are the humans. You've got the Dwarfs, which as you might expect are the Dwarfs. You've got the Greenskins, which are made up from Orcs and Goblins. You've got the Vampire Counts, which are the Undead. And if you buy the game pre-order or buy it within the first week of release, there are the Warriors of Chaos as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and play as the Dwarfs because I am a noob and they have an initial challenge of easy. So if you look at like the Empire, the Greenskins and the Vampire Counts, their initial challenge is normal. Warriors of Chaos are hard, the Dwarfs are easy. So the faction mechanics, we can only capture territory belonging to Greenskins and other dwarf factions. So I believe there is a mod that removes that limitation, but as a general rule in this particular game of Total War, in Total War Warhammer, you can only capture the territories of certain other factions, not like something like Rome or Attila, when you can pretty much capture anybody's stuff. Grudges. So enemy actions result in grudge missions, all of which must be settled in order to achieve a campaign victory. And we can also use the underway. Armies can choose to use a network of underground tunnels to avoid impassable terrain and enemy armies, so that's really nice. So we've got a little bit of background story here about the Dwarfs. For many generations, the Dwarfs prospered, but as their realm was riven by a chain of devastating earthquakes followed by sustained attacks by Greenskins and other vile foes, thus the golden age of Karazhancour ended. To this day, the Dwarfs still fight. Their ultimate goal is to restore their empire. With their belligerence, is such a thing possible? A dwarf... excuse me, dry throat. A dwarf throng is a powerful force consisting of stoic dwarf warriors, gyrocopters that fly above the battlefield, and cannons fueled by flame and steam that spew death. Dwarfs do not call upon the winds of magic in the same way as men. To them, magic is a tangible thing, something that can be worked into access or cannonballs. It is with these elements, stalwart, dwarfish hearts, exceptional armour and weaponry, and the unmatched machines of war that the High King Thorgrim Grudgebearer plans to retake his realm, slaying every last stinking greenskin in his way. Few doubt his resolve. For the first time in many generations, the Dwarfs are truly roused to battle. The great reckoning begins. So our playstyle is we have very durable units with strong leadership. So, you know, Dwarfs are very highly armoured. They've got a lot of hit points. Excellent range of strong artillery. So the Dwarfs are all about having siege machines that can do a lot of damage from distance. We've got a strong economy and trade options. We've got a large technology tree with both military and civic branches. Magic resistance because we don't really use magic. Expensive unit recruitment and upkeep costs, so that's what our sort of penalty is. Our units are a bit more expensive than other empires. No cavalry. We have small military unit sizes and no magic, although I do believe we can use runes. Our top units are the Gyrocopter, which is a flying war machine. It's armoured. It has armour-piercing missiles, and it is anti-infantry. We have Slayers that are an axe infantry. They are anti-large, so they're very good against some of the large beasties in the game. They're fast for a dwarf, and they have abilities called Death Blow and Whirling Axes. And then finally the Iron Drakes. Now they're weak against armour because they have flamethrowers, but they are very good against unarmoured infantry. So let's go ahead and look at the objectives here. So you can either do a short campaign or a long campaign. In the long campaign, we have to ensure that there are no active grudges remaining in the Great Book of Grudges, and unite the following dwarf holds either by direct ownership or through vassalization and military allies. There's quite a list. We also have to reclaim the fallen dwarf holds either by direct ownership or through vassals in military allies. Destroy the following factions: the Greenskin. Ensure that the only military presence belonging to the Warriors of Chaos exists in the Chaos Wastes, and ensure that Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, is in a wounded state. There is a shorter option, which has fewer things that you actually need to get done. We'll go for the long one. I'm not even sure if we'll make it through to the end of the campaign. I might decide that I'm doing... If I do survive, I might just decide that I'm doing absolutely terrible and restart. So let's go in and continue. You get a couple of different leaders you can choose from. We have Ungrim Iron Fist. He's a powerful melee fighter and leader. He has a minus 25% recruitment cost for Slayer units and a minus 50% upkeep cost for Slayer units. He actually starts with some additional starting units. He's got some Thunderers, some Slayers, and some Longbeards. And then we also have Thorgrim Grudgebearer himself. He's the faction leader, and he has minus 10% construction cost for military recruitment buildings and 10% reduction in upkeep for Longbeards and Hammer units. He starts with the Grudge Thrower, which is an armor-piercing anti-infantry catapult. He starts with Quarrelers that are armoured and shield missile infantry, but they're actually good in melee as well. And they've got the Hammerers, which are armor-piercing damage dealers. We're going to go for Thorgrim Grudgebearer himself because we're going to enable the introduction, so I'm going to be playing the tutorial mission. I will have the in-game help on because I am learning this game as I go. So let's dive in. I am running this game off an SSD, so I'm hoping that it will load relatively quickly.
The old world is a crucible of relentless war. It has ever been so. An era as long as the mountains are unyielding.
Yeah, I'd be getting out of there as well, I think.
But as the storms gather again, it presents a chance for the brave to bring about an age of reckoning. I come to the Dwarf High King as a herald of such times, and so I find myself at the King's right hand.
A little bit of screen tearing going on, but I can't run VSync because there's some problems with the Nvidia drivers at the moment.
Timely, for dire news comes from the south. Greenskins flock to the banner of a cruel war boss. Now, my liege, Thorgrim Grudgebearer, leads a mighty throng from Karazakarak, smashing aside any foes that block our path. If Grudgebearer desires to return the Karaz Angkor to its former glory, then he must rid his lands of vile greenskins. Those gathering within the shadows of Everpeak are a good start.
So there we go, there's our intro.
I see orcs scum. They foul our mountains with their vile taint. The Damaskron, our great book of grudges, is filled with such greenskin atrocities. Bring hammer and axe. Show these Urks and Groby no mercy.
Your forces begin their attack, my lord. See for yourself.
So, well, we're not marching in, but we'll move the camera around because that's what it wants us to do. I know how to move the camera around. I've done that before. Hold shift to move the camera faster. Yeah, we know all of that. It's not giving me the option to pause at the moment. Looks like we've got some units moving in.
Be sure to join the fight yourself. The warriors will be greatly inspired by your presence.
Okay, so let's just pause up because I just want to go and see what units we have down here. Are we not in control of all of these? I would assume we are. So, no, we've only got these 2 units actually to control. So we've got Thorgrim himself, and we've also got the Longbeards down here. Not exactly sure how effective you can go into battle when you're basically sat on a big chair. How do we remove the interfaces? Yeah, it's K, there we go. So, is it N to zoom? Is it usually is? Yep, there we go. So there's Thorgrim on his chair with his guard sort of carrying him along. And we've also got these guys. These look like they're going to get involved. Let's go ahead and actually unpause while we do this because it's a lot more impressive to see if we're not paused. So let's go and do that. We can take the interface off. We can go and zoom in. There we go. We can actually see the animations now. These guys, they're pretty cool. But let's go and get moving in because we're not here to see the sights, as it were. So let's go and zoom out. We're going to go and grab these guys and start moving them in. So we've got a couple of armies on either side. These are being controlled by the AI. We've also got this group over here, which I'm assuming at some point we will get control of. Yep, so I can get advice if I need it. So we're just going to march up. Now, one thing that you've got to remember in Total War Warhammer is that your lord, unlike your generals in other Warhammer games, in other Total War games, can actually really get stuck in and fight. They do a lot of damage. You know, you can go one general against like 3 or 4 regiments of other troops, and they work quite well. Yeah, double right click on an enemy unit, selected units to charge. We will do that, but we're not going to do it from this distance because it'd be quite dumb. We are still quite far away. Got some archers there. They have stopped. They're, well, quarrelers. They're missile infantry. They're not actually archers because they don't have... or do they actually? Oh, yeah, they are the crossbowmen. So they're technically archers. So what we want to do is get these guys in. And we'll go in from... We're going to actually tell them to charge. We'll sort of go in from the side. We might be able to get a little bit of a flank going on. Just trying to get used to the camera controls. I haven't played a Total War game for a while. So we're going to charge... We're going to go over here, actually, and then charge in from the flanks. Let's go and move Thorgrim over there. So we want to get in around to the side here. And jump in there. And let's go ahead and go in with Thorgrim himself here. In fact, we can actually go in and possibly just go and attack their quarrelers over there. Oh, no, they're Araboys, Orc Araboys. Let's go in and attack those guys. Need to work my zoom out because I'm getting my zoom buttons the wrong way around. You're getting a little bit mobbed. Let me just check what my zoom button is because I've absolutely forgotten what that is. Options, controls, battle. Should be one for camera somewhere. Camera, speed up. No, that's not it. Is it under universal then? Probably. Rotate camera up, camera down. Right, let's scroll forwards, backwards. Rotate speed. Didn't mention anything about the actual zoom itself. I'm sure there's something I'm doing wrong. I'll work it out at some point. I can manage with how it's going for now. Let's just resume the battle. There we go. And let's carry on. Should have checked that before I got stuck into this, really. Okay, so you guys are getting something done. You're winded. Since you're losing decisively. They're losing decisively. That's more like it. Let's go and charge in onto those Araboys over there. Who are you actually fighting? You are fighting some sword infantry. I'd much prefer... Well, that sword infantry is taking a lot of damage, actually. So I don't mind that. Looks like Thorgrim does have some abilities that we can use here. Let's just have a quick look at what he's got. He has Deadly Onslaught, which is a self buff that gives him a charge bonus, armor piercing damage, and additional vigor. So it doesn't look like you can put that on other people. There's Foe Seeker, which is a self buff, which looks like it does pretty much the same thing, except slightly more speed. And then there's Stand Your Ground, which is self-cast and affects allies in range. So those are all things that are useful. So let's go ahead and we will cast those. We can also affect these guys because they're probably going to be in range of the aura. Yep, they're in the blue circle if I hold down space. So we'll be doing some damage there. Their arrow boys are actually running off. Let's go and run in and help over here. So it's just talking about leadership. Leadership is basically what morale was in other games. These guys are actually breaking now, so that's fine. Okay, so we've been given some more units now. So let's get these guys to do that. You guys can come in from the back. We'll run in to the back of these big uns. Let's also get Thorgrim to come in from the rear as well. So we're actually doing some damage there. We can go ahead and sort of pop his abilities, the one that gives us some more speed as we charge in. We are taking some losses on these Longbeards here, but they're basically just holding the enemy back, which is what they should be doing. We've got some abilities about to come off cooldown. We'll pop them whenever we can. At least if we keep popping these abilities, it'll help the rest of our troops to sort of avoid breaking. Do I have missile units? Oh, we do. We've actually got some quarrelers back here. Is there anybody we can reach? I guess we can get over here. What's this? What do we have there? We've got some trolls. Let's select all these guys and sort of move them across in this direction. Don't really need to worry about the left flank. I think these guys have got that goblin big boss sorted out. We'll try and... well, they're actually running away now, so I don't think we need to worry too much about that. Let's go and get our... Yeah, I don't think we need to worry. These guys should all just root and leave the battlefield now. No, they are coming back, actually. So let's make sure that we are shooting at them. Let's go ahead and run into these guys. We'll make sure that we are running our sort of buffing abilities. Just running into the back of some archers there, into the back of those arrow boys. That should fix them out. And we are also firing in with the quarrelers that are back here. So they've got quite a good range on them. So we should be doing some decent damage. Yeah, losing a few units, but nothing too terrible. I don't mind that too much. Let's just really get in here. There's a good scrap going on now. Right, so now we've got their general to worry about. So where's he hiding? They're all reinforcing from the back. I think the best thing we can do is to try and get rid of as many of the other troops as possible. In fact, most of their troops have routed, so let's go ahead and sort of start to move forward. We'll go and form some ranks. We want to get our sort of quarrelers at the back. Try and protect them. We've got these little spider riders over here as well. What are they actually called? Yeah, Forest Goblin Spider Riders, so they're getting more involved than we'd like to be. Their leader's actually using his abilities to do stuff. He's got magic in there. Let's go and make sure that our quarrelers are targeting him. Oh, didn't even have to do anything myself. It looks like we just won that by default. So somebody broke. It was a close victory, apparently. We've won the battle, but do not celebrate too much, for the gods will look ill upon those who come so near to defeat. I don't think we were that near to defeat, to be quite honest. I mean, there's still plenty of our units left compared to all theirs that are running away. Maybe it's just a scripted thing. It probably is. It probably is just a scripted thing. So that's just the sort of the introductory battle. At least I won. I mean, I could have lost. That could have been worse.
Your sacred peak is secure, King Grudgebearer. The mountains rumble to the sound of your armies marching, yet the threat to your kind has scarcely diminished.
So, we're now on the campaign map.
The lands around here remain infested with filthy greenskin scum. See for yourself.
So, we've got the Pillars of Grugni.
The greenskins of the Bloody Spears continue to defile your most sacred monuments. They must be expelled from these mountains with all haste. No dwarf king should tolerate such a presence so close to Everpeak.
So those guys are quite close. We're going to have to deal with those. Who else do we have around?
The dwarfs of Barakvar look kindly upon your cause, sire. With sufficient persuasion, they would likely join your struggle against the greenskins.
So we need to get some friends and allies here. And then finally down here.
The scabby-eyed tribe of greenskins maintain their hostilities against you from their feeble camps upon the plains. Be sure to watch their movements carefully.
Okay, so we've examined the positions of importance.
Must be the answer. The Bloody Spears cannot be allowed to regroup after their defeat. Press forward and maintain the offensive.
So what is it you want me to do? Armies can be selected. Advance the army to the Bloody Spears. Are they over there, are they? Want me to move over here? Okay, well, we'll go and do it.
Good. The enemy will no doubt have picked up your movements. They will be frantically barricading their hovels in preparation for your arrival.
Okay.
More of your proud kin stand ready to take up arms against the invaders, my lord. Recruit them.
Right, yep, unit recruitment. I know how that works. So you select the army, you press this button down here. Now, global recruitment is only available whilst garrisoned in the encamped stance, which we're not. So it's giving us 2 units that we can choose from, which are miners and dwarf warriors. So they're quite sort of, you know, weak units to begin with. Dwarf warriors are axe infantry. They're armoured and shielded, and they have good charge defence against large foes. And miners are armoured and armour piercing, and they're good against gates. Obviously, the dwarf warriors are a bit more expensive. We can recruit 3 units at once. So let's go ahead and we'll get ourselves 2 dwarf warriors, and we'll just get another miner in there as well.
Great warriors, I'm sure. For now, the throng must remain in place to train them.
So we've got to stay still.
Also look at improving your infrastructure at home. A solid base of operations will repay itself on the battlefields ahead.
So we've got to go and upgrade some buildings. So we've got, basically there's a province has a number of settlements in it, and this is the Silver Road province. It has 3 settlements, which is Karazakarak, the Pillars of Grungni, and Mount Squighorn. Obviously we control Karazakarak, but we don't control the other ones. They are controlled by the Bloody Spears. But we can upgrade some of these buildings, so that's our actual main settlement there. Let's see what they want us to do, though.
Upgraded training facilities will allow you to better train the Dawi to fight, sire.
Yep, I understand. So you want me to upgrade the sparring chamber into a barracks. So if we upgrade that into a barracks, it'll take 2 turns. It will cost 1,800 coins, or whatever our currency is, and it will unlock the ability to build, produce quarrelers, and quarrelers with great weapons, but we'll also need the armory for that. So let's go ahead and start work on that.
Stout hands will be set to work immediately. You must seek ways to further your methods of war if you are to drive the orc filth from the mountains. Put the finest minds from the guilds to work on improving your practices and knowledge. So
we've got a tech tree, quite a big tech tree here for the dwarfs. So we've got a couple of different things here. We've got the way of the guilds. A powerful authoritative voice in any hold. The guilds dominate dwarven civil life, controlling trade, finances and labour. And then we've got the way of the clans, which is basically our tech that allows us to branch out into military tech. So what can we have here? There's 4 options we've got to choose from. We've got Khazid subsidies that give us an extra 5% income from settlements. We've got include related families that gives +1 public order. We've got gather the throngs that reduces the recruitment cost of dwarven warriors and recruitment cost of miners. And I wish that we'd have had the option to get that before we just recruited those 3 units, but we wouldn't have got it anyway because it's 3 turns. And levy missile warriors, which is cheaper recruitment cost for quarrelers and thunderers. I think we'll use gather the throngs because we're most likely to be using a lot of dwarf warriors and miners early on. So let's go and queue that up.
In time, the lore they will gain will surely aid your cause. I know your patience wears thin, my king, but you must temper the need for vengeance with further intelligence of the Groby's actions. There is nothing more to do for now.
Well, he says there's nothing more to do, but we can have a little bit more of a look around the campaign map. We can also look at the garrison details. Whenever you see a province, you can also go and click on the garrison button, and it'll show you the units that are actually garrisoned there. So if you look at Karak, you can see that we actually have quite a few units in there. We've got some hammerers, we've got some longbeards, we've got some miners, some thunderers, and some quarrelers. We've also got a grudge thrower in there as well. If we look at our main army over here, you can see that we have some hammerers, we've got some quarrelers, we've got that grudge thrower in there as well. We can't go into the treasury or into the diplomacy or anything at the moment because we are still on the tutorial. So we don't even have, or do we have the option to the map? I don't think we even do that at the moment. So let's go in and hit the next turn button then. So it'll go through and do all of its processing. We'll see we've got some enemies coming in towards us. They haven't attacked, but they're very close.
Greenskins muster in the mountain pass to the east. Attack now, while they remain vulnerable.
So we're going to have to jump in on those guys. We've got a grudge now. A grudge has been issued. Beheld by the enraged gaze of Grimnir, the bloody spears have trespassed with impunity all over the sacred mountains. Their forces gather to the east and must be defeated in battle before their strength is regained. So the objective is to defeat an army belonging to the following faction in battle, the Bloody Spears, and the reward for doing that is to get 1,000 coins in the treasury. So we know who we're going to be attacking.
Against your kind are recorded in the venerable Book of Grudges, the Damas Kron. Once documented, no transgression should remain unpunished, my king.
Okay, that's fine. Now, where do we go and have a look at that? Because, is it here? Grudges and quests. Yep, so we've got a list of grudges. I'm sure there's supposed to be like a book for it. Is it down here? Yeah, the Great Book of Grudges. There we go. So we'll get all of these grudges will get listed in here as we get more and more of them. We have to make sure that they are all dealt with in a timely fashion. We do now have access to things like the Treasury and the faction summary, so we can go and see things about us. We're at war with 4 different factions, so that's the Bloody Spears, the Scabby Eye, the Red Fangs, and the Greenskins. We have a trade partner in Barrack-Var. Let's go and have a quick look at the diplomacy and see what we can do.
Relations with foreign powers may be managed through diplomacy, my lord. Consider your situation carefully before accepting any agreement.
Okay, so we've got Barrack-Var. Barrack-Var like us. We have a non-aggression pact with them. We have military access. We have a trade agreement with them. Let's go ahead and speak to them if we can. Initiate diplomacy.
Come, kin. Let us feast and drink.
We could try and get a defensive alliance. There's a moderate chance of it succeeding, but we'll go for it anyway. They have accepted our offer. Great, so we've got a defensive alliance. Is there anybody else close by that we'd like to possibly be friends with? Now then, what are our relations with you? We have a defensive alliance with you as well? Just trying to remember how all this works out. So, offer demands, military alliance. Yeah, we've got a defensive alliance, so that's all quite good. Where do I get to that other screen? I sort of lost it. Do I need to go and... there we go. So yeah, we have military access with you and a defensive alliance. Cannot trade. A route from their capital cannot be established. You like me somewhat. According to this, we don't have a defensive alliance. Thinking you only have one defensive alliance. That's quite possible. Let's get you clicked on again. Initiate diplomacy. There we go. We can get a non-aggression pact with them. So let's at least offer the non-aggression pact, and they have accepted. I could have not avoided doing that and used it as an excuse to go and attack them later on. We can't get any trade with them yet. Don't think we'll go for military access. We can't get a defensive alliance, but we'll stick with that non-aggression pact. Let's go ahead and click off on that. So all we have to do now is to go and attack these guys and initiate that battle, but that is something that I will do on the next video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are enjoying Total War Warhammer. Do bear with me. Like I said, I am quite new to this game, so I am learning as I go along. If you've got any tips or advice, if you are Total War, if you're Total War veterans and you can give me some advice to make me better at this game, by all means leave it in the comments below and I'll try and incorporate it into the game as we go. But until then, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, goodbye for now.